Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the Brown Bagging It Show. Merry Christmas, season's greetings. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Oh, this is the best time of the year, the absolute best time of the year. And welcome, and thank you for sharing part of your lunch with us on the Brown Bagging It Show. As you know, the Brown Bagging It Show comes to you every Tuesday like this, and what we do is we interview some of the greatest leaders, some of the greatest businessmen, communicators of the world. All right, and we have a very, very special guest. But before we get into that, I want to make sure we bring out the other host, CJ. There you are. Hello, CJ.
How you doing there? Good to see you again, Marty.
Good seeing you. I am so sorry. Christine is out saving the world, so she couldn't be with us today. Okay, so it's going to be you and I, and we have such a cool guest today. So this is going to be cool. And are you excited, CJ?
I have a hint as to who our guest might be today.
There you go. There you go. It's another brother of the white beards, right?
Yeah, his is a little bit bigger and more full.
But yeah, he's got the classic. This is what us junior festive guys are. We're leading towards that.
Yeah, we haven't quite made it.
Yeah. So CJ, like we had talked about, we want to end the year really big.
Right.
And since we've been talking with so many great leaders, business people who have to handle so many problems, we said, who is the number one guy, the best person we can get for an interview? So I think we landed him. This is going to be tremendous.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when we're talking about something that is global, because all businesses have to go global at some point, right?
Eventually, correct.
Talking about a distribution chain that's incredible. The guy has a production line that is astronomical. I mean, we're talking some pretty cool stuff.
Exactly. I mean, and brand marketing. Is there anybody who does a better job than this guy? You know?
Yeah, and somehow he manages to get free PR from just about every major outlet.
Right. And what's more important than anything else is he stays happy. He's always just this jolly guy. He's just always smiling, and he brings that same joy across the world. This is incredible. It's all businesses can learn something from this guy.
Oh, by all means. But, before we do that, I know you're dying to ask me what I brought in my brown bag.
I'm dying to find out what you brought for lunch today.
Okay, but I have to say, just to keep in, I started this in season 1, with a lunchbox instead of a bag.
I love it. And what are you eating today?
Well, interestingly enough, sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Right back to the brown bag. Thanks.
Right back. There we go. So inside here, I have something that, again, is associated with our guest today, but only from a Mickey Mouse perspective, because as you notice, I don't know if you can tell, this is all things from the Magic Kingdom and stuff and Disney World.
Yes.
It's Disney World's 50th anniversary. Can you believe it?
That's pretty nice.
I thought I would bring a Disney World Santa Claus.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
So that's what my idea is. How about you? What did you bring today?
So it's this incredible mixed emotion I went through. So what I did was, because this is the season of miracles, magic. So I left my lunch bag out by the fireplace last night thinking, this is going to be exciting. I want to see what I get. And to my dismay, I got coal. And I was really, really upset, almost brought to tears. But then I realized I got the wrong lunch bag. This isn't mine anyway.
Oh, that was very creative.
So enough of this. Let's bring this guy out here and share this experience with the world.
You want to do a little intro?
All right. So, as you know, Santa Claus, the number one guy, one of the greatest marketers of all time. This guy here runs a international manufacturing and distribution system that rivals everyone. Nobody could match what he has to do. Not only does he spend the entire year with manufacturing and a very specialized workforce, but he does all the delivery in one night. He's created this incredible system that just cannot be beat. So, without further ado, Mr. Claus, how are you, sir?
Hey!
So glad to be here today with you.
We are glad you took the time.
I'm tickled pink. Are you kidding? This seems to me like probably a busy time for you, and yet you found time for us. So thank you so very much.
Well, Marty, it's really a case of the elves do all the groundwork, and they leave it for me to do the PR for the club, for the company.
Gotcha. So I'm glad we can help. All right, we're going to spread the word. But you're already internationally known. So how can we spread the word more about you? What should we be sharing with the world?
Well, most important, you should share that during this time of year, it's really important for everybody to be very safe with their family gatherings. I've lived through a lot of pandemics before. About 100 years ago, we had the Spanish flu, and then many, many years before that was the Black Death, the bubonic plague. So I've lived through a lot of pandemics, and the best way for people to be happy during this season is to be very, very careful when they're gathering in groups and not to gather in large groups, which I, of course, love, but small groups so they lessen the chance of having anything happen to them over the Christmas holidays.
Such great advice. Thank you. And you're like the king of social distancing. I mean, you deliver the presents in secret. Okay? You don't even touch their doorknobs. So I love this. So,
Right.
you've got this system. Obviously, you've been doing this for a long time.
Right. This year, because of global warming, I've had to put wheels next to the sleigh tracks because some places that usually have snow, like your place in Chicago, I don't think we're going to have a white Christmas there this year. So when I land on the roofs, I have to use pneumatic tires instead of the runners on the sleigh, so that I'm quiet on the rooftops.
Well, my shingles appreciate you.
So I have a. I
They're
have
very
a
soft.
let's talk a little bit about your manufacturing process. You know, I've kind of grew up through the Fortune 100 world a little bit using the DMAIC principles and so on to, make sure there's no bottlenecks in the processes and so on. But I understand at the North Pole, you have a little different way of doing things, and yet somehow they always have enough toys built in time for you to go out on Christmas Eve. What's your secret with manufacturing?
Well, my secret in manufacturing is that I have I have groups of elves that specifically specialize in different kinds of toys. So I have a whole team of elves that just works on dolls. I have another team of elves that just works on things like cars and trucks. And then another team of elves, and it's getting much bigger every year, that works with electronics, because electronics has become a very, very popular gift item for the Christmas season. Now, we, like everyone else in the world, have had supply chain issues because we don't make the chips. So some people who have been looking for PS4s and PS5s and Nintendo Switches, unfortunately, might be disappointed because we have not been able to get the chips that we wanted, even though we've got everything set up to be able to manufacture all the electronic toys that kids would want.
So this is pretty cool. So you've got this specialized workforce. Do you do any cross training with them to keep them motivated, or how do you motivate these elves?
Well, the nice thing about elves is they're pretty easily motivated by hot chocolate and candy canes.
So am I.
Fortunately, they have the same kind of desires for fun, sugary food that I do. And sometimes when I get too full of the cookies that people leave me, I bring those cookies back to the North Pole and I share them with the workforce. So they look forward to Christmas Day as much as anybody can imagine. It's like a special treat for them to have the cookies that are homemade by so many people all over the world. And of course, I got to take care of the reindeer, so I appreciate it when people leave carrots and celery, because the reindeer get pretty hungry flying around the world on Christmas Eve.
That is a great note. We're going to make sure of that. We'll put extra carrots. Are there anything other than carrots? Is there something else the reindeer really like?
The other thing is something that's easy to carry, like celery. So something
really?
that doesn't spoil. Yeah, and they like anything that's green. They're omnivores. All they eat is grass and things that are plants. So things that are vegetables or that kind of thing are very much appreciated. You can even put out some tomatoes if you want.
Okay, so, but do you actually eat all those cookies? I mean, if I put out a plate of cookies and my neighbor puts out a plate of cookies and my neighbor's neighbor puts out a plate, do you really eat all that, or do you store it away or use it for other purposes?
Does it look like I've skipped on any cookies in my life? However, like I said, sometimes, especially after I've been eating a lot of cookies all night long, I make sure that I take them with me so I can take them back to the North Pole and share them with Mrs. Claus and the elves.
Wow.
Nice, nice. So that old adage that behind every successful man is a strong woman, right? So does that stands true for you, obviously, right?
Of course, Mrs. Claus is critically important to making sure that I'm happy all the rest of the year. How else do you think I stay so jolly?
So Santa, we talked about cookies. What is your favorite flavor? Like if we were going to tell people, hey, Santa really likes this, what would it be? That
Cookies
like
with sugar in them. So I love sugar cookies that are decorated for Christmas, but I'm really a fan of chocolate chip and especially coconut chocolate chip.
There you
Because
go.
we don't have many coconuts up on the North Pole. Coconuts are in the southern hemisphere or in places that are a lot warmer than the North Pole. Of course, with global warming, it could be that we're going to get coconuts up in the North Pole before too long.
You never know. You never know. So you kids out there, you heard it here first. When you want to do something extra special for Santa this year, it's those coconut chocolate chip cookies. Okay, and then just regular milk, or would you like something different? Because that's a lot of milk to drink worldwide.
Milk builds strong bones. Vitamin
Okay.
D in the milk is really important, especially for me up at the North Pole. Remember, in the North Pole, we don't have sunlight for half the year. So
Wow.
getting that vitamin D is really important for me so I stay nice and healthy.
So, with the whole concept here of you building toys and spending all kinds of days working with your elves in the shop to try and make things happen, do you do anything from the standpoint of creating a vision for your employees and finding a way to get them to get behind that, align with it, to move the company forward? I mean, how does that work exactly from a North Pole standpoint?
Well, think about it. Our goal is to make all the children in the world happy as we possibly can make them. So we want our elves to be very happy also. So we make sure that we have lots of breaks, for, especially any time up until peak season. So peak season is around the beginning of November because that's when people finally get their list together. We have a pretty good idea of what people are going to want because we watch Saturday morning cartoons and we watch all the shows on the kids stations, right? However, when people make up their mind about what they want, that's when we go into overdrive and spend extra time preparing for Christmas. I'm amazed at the number of kids who I've sat with that a couple weeks before Christmas still don't know what they want. That makes life really difficult for the elves because they have to work especially hard to find those last minute gifts that the children want.
Yeah.
So we make sure that during the rest of the year, we have lots of time for sleigh breaks and snowball fights and things that make people happy.
I know there's other people that help you as well because the United States Post Office, this time of year between November 1 and New Year's Day, delivers over 1 billion letters, most of them all Christmas, and over 15, is it 15 billion? I think it's 15 billion packages. Now that's worldwide, of course. I guess that maybe that I'm giving you instead of just the United States. But you got DHL, you got USPS, you got UPS, you have FedEx. How do they work with you? How do they tie in with you to get the job done?
Well, we have separate distribution locations for UPS, the post office, not just the U.S. post office. Remember, we have we have post offices all over the world. So we have a post office connection for Great Britain and Norway and Sweden and even Russia. So it's important for us to have connections with all the post office all over the world, plus UPS, FedEx, and like you mentioned, DHL, which is much bigger in Europe and Africa and Asia than UPS or FedEx. So we have connections. We have like distribution centers up in the North Pole, and we use the delivery planes from all of those companies to get some extra presents to the children all over the world.
Wow. So over time, it seems like you're relying more on those sources. What percentage are hand delivered by you compared to using these other delivery services?
You'd be surprised at how much I hand deliver. You know, my sack is magical, and it fills up as I go through the night. Sometimes, though, I've been telling a lot of children to make sure that when they go to bed that night, that they leave a note on the refrigerator to remind me of the gifts that they've asked for, so that I can be sure to pull them out of my bag.
You know, the thing that amazes me more than anything else is that, you know, in the United States, we have about 330 million people, and that equates out to about 123 million households. Now, for you to get to 123 million households in one night, come on, you got to tell us what your secret is. I mean, that's got to be the most astounding thing that you do.
The reindeer are very fast, and remember, we're also magical. So we can kind of warp time a little bit. We start on the East Coast and we go to the West Coast. We follow the late night, and the moon, you know, the moon's almost full at this, or it's going to be full at this point. So it's easy for us to get the directions and make sure we stop at every place. But we move pretty fast, partially because time is not relevant to us.
Wow, that's incredible.
That is tremendous. That is tremendous. CJ, did you want to take a little break? You went to this special. We went to the 3-shot. I don't know if you were introducing something.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think didn't you put together a comedy thing that we should play?
Yeah, a little something that the other day Santa was running through my mind, and so I just wanted to kind of share the story.
Here it goes.
Ho, 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 everybody, and a Merry Christmas Kwanzaa to all of you. So a couple weeks ago, I'm driving home, and I'm contemplating what Santa must go through. I mean, after all, he flies around the world and delivers toys to all the boys and girls all over the world in one night. And I always wondered, has he ever been stopped for speeding? Well, while I'm doing this, I cruise through this intersection, and I see the flash of the light. Boom. The traffic camera flashes. I look down at my speedometer, and I wasn't speeding. Okay, the light was green. So I start going around the corner, and I slowly come back around. I want to find out what's going on. So this time I drive through the same intersection again, just a little bit slower. I make sure the light is green. I look at my speedometer. I cruise through, and boom, the traffic light flashes again. I'm like, I don't get this. I don't understand this. So curiosity got the best of me. I went around the corner again. This time I'm driving even a little slower. I slow down, make sure the light is green. I cruise through there. I look at the camera, give it a wave, and boom, it flashes again. Well, I just don't get this at all. So I did this a couple more times trying to figure it out. Never figured it out. Until yesterday. Yesterday, in the mail, just in time for Christmas, I got 5 tickets for driving without a seatbelt.
I did not see that coming.
I have a rough life there, CJ.
I was expecting the picture to be of Santa Claus's sleigh going through.
Wouldn't that have been nice, right?
But clearly, Santa, you weren't there with him.
That's right.
No, I was not. But I sometimes get a warning ticket for flying too low.
Oh.
Because it's not about the speed, because they can't figure out how fast I'm going. But flying too low is a little bit dangerous in some neighborhoods. So I do have some very, very cautious police to make sure I don't ram into anything as I'm flying around the world.
So, Santa, I have a question for you on marketing. So I love the fact that you drive home. Your philosophy is your happy customers are driven by your happy employees, and that happiness starts at the top. The boss has to be happy, the employees will be happy, and then your customers, the children, will be happy. But you have this unique way of using some negative reinforcement on your customers, the children, the ones that are acting up a little bad. You put coal in their stocking. Have you ever found that negative reinforcement has changed those kids and turned them around, get them to smile again?
You'd be surprised what a little negative reinforcement does. They know there's a nice list and a naughty list, and I'm constantly checking it. In fact, that is one of the most time-consuming parts of my job. And once again, I've got the elves to help me so that I can see whether the kids are trying to be nice or whether they're trying to be naughty. I really worry about the ones that are trying to be naughty. Those are the ones that get the coal, like CJ.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have to go back to this comment that popped up. So Santa, they're wondering what items are on your wish list.
Because I have the manufacturing capabilities that are the largest in the planet, I don't really have much that I want personally. So for me, it's about the experience and joy of people gathering together during Christmas. So if there's anything that I would like more than anything else, I would like people to get along and stop making Christmas and stop making disease a political thing. Christmas is there. I want to assure everyone there is no war on Christmas. I am busier than I have ever been. And so I think it's important that we have folks realize that these are the kinds of things that should not be political. And I'm sad that they're political all over the world because these are the kinds of celebrations that should be happy for everyone.
Yeah, I like that. And as a matter of fact, I liked how Marty introduced the whole show today, saying Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and so on. It's one of those things where you want to be able to express your joy whenever you want to and share that joy with others. And it doesn't matter to me what you celebrate. What matters to me is, do you have the opportunity to share your joy? Because everybody needs it.
A lot of people don't realize how many Christmas traditions did not come from the Christian world. For example, the Christmas tree was founded by the Vikings years and years ago, because where do the Vikings live? They live up in the Arctic Circle where it's very, very dark. So they lit Yule logs and they decorated their trees with candles because they didn't have electric lights at that time, to make sure that it was bright and shiny during the cold, dark winter days. And so we like to make sure that people know that all of the things that we're celebrating have come from many, many different places all around the world and from many different cultures.
As a matter of fact, I heard recently about the candy cane and how a gentleman who, I forgot what his background was, I think part English, part German, something like that, but he was an immigrant. And he couldn't afford decorations on his tree, so he put candy canes on his tree. And that was the first time that was ever done. That was obviously decades ago, and many people have done it ever since. So, yeah, I think everybody takes a little piece of something from their heritage and they add to the season.
And here, I thought candy canes were just used by really old gingerbread men. But
something like that.
Exactly.
Marty's trying to be funny.
I'm trying. You know what? Santa,
You're
teach us
gonna
that
get the coal if you don't watch it, Marty.
No, sir. Teach us that ho ho ho. So let's CJ and I learn that the famous Santa ho ho ho.
Comes from the diaphragm and the deep part of the throat. So it's ho ho ho. Not ho ho ho. That's just not right. Deep, deep breath. Ho ho ho.
Okay, you first, Marty.
All right. Ho ho ho.
Very good, Marty. You did a nice job on that.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
here goes nothing.
You know, if you grow that beard out a little bit, you could be one of Santa's helpers.
Oh, you know what? That it would be a dream come true. Ever since I was a little kid, I thought I was destined to do that. So thank you. Just the idea that you would even suggest it has made my Christmas dreams come true.
Okay, you know what? I have to bring something up.
All right.
This is something really important to me, Santa. You have to tell me the truth. I noticed when I was a little boy that your shoes looked identical to my dad's shoes. Was it because they were popular at the time, or was there something else going on that I didn't understand?
You know, the secret is that the shoes are the thing that is I rarely think about the shoes. My shoes, most of the time, are boots that have white fur across the top, so to make them nice and warm and easy to put on. The fact that your father might want to copy my shoes is a nice compliment. I appreciate it.
That flattery is the sincerest form of something.
However it goes.
Copying is the sincerest form of flattery. I knew it was somewhere in there.
Right.
So, CJ, don't
Imitation.
get away with
The
this.
actual phrase is imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
There you go.
There
I
it
love
is.
it. There you go.
Oh, ho, ho, ho,
Santa
ho.
knows all. Santa knows all.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, oh, oh.
Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 ho. Are we doing better? Are we getting close?
CJ, I'm afraid that Marty's got a little bit more on you. You need to project more.
Oh, okay.
There you go. All right.
A little bit of that Toastmaster vocal variety, okay?
There you go. And, you know, Santa always says it's all in the delivery.
Oh.
Absolutely. Especially on Christmas Eve.
There you go. There you go. So, Santa, do you have any other words of wisdoms for small businesses? Like, what should small businesses be doing? How can we emulate your passion, your success, to make our small businesses more successful?
Just focus on the customers. You think about all I do is listen all year long to all the wishes of my customers, the children who are asking for Christmas gifts. So listening to your customers is the most important thing you can do. It helps you really understand what's important to them and how they can perceive you to be the way that they fulfill their dreams. Because that's my job as Santa, is to fulfill the dreams of all the children who are my customers.
Wow.
Does that help?
That's fantastic.
And you
Yeah.
definitely do that, sir. You definitely do that.
Okay, so just because I was so hesitant earlier, I double checked
Yes.
on the numbers. So
Yes.
the United States Postal Service between November 1 and January 1 does deliver a billion letters and 15 billion packages. That's
Incredible.
yeah, that's
Incredible.
absolutely
And
incredible.
remember, that's just the United States. That's not all of Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. That's my turf.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, and for
Of
you
course,
to
when
get to
I'm down in Australia and New Zealand, because it's summer there, I
Yeah.
have to have a short sleeve uniform, because otherwise I'd be way too hot down in South America and in Australia and New Zealand.
well, I was wondering about that because I saw a cartoon one time, and I don't remember which cartoon it was, but you were in it, and you were wearing Bermuda shorts. So, do you actually change up in the different climates that you go to?
Well, it's really easy for me to change. I just go like this and change from winter clothes to summer clothes. Of course, you want. It's warm enough in this. Look at all the fur I've got all around me. So let's make sure that we know that in the warmer climates, I have bright red shorts, bright red stockings, and a bright red shirt, a t-shirt that I can wear.
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool.
And even the hat doesn't have as much fur. You'd be
Any-
surprised how warm this hat can be.
I'll bet. So it looks like we're going to take another break for a book deep dive. Santa, I know you're an extremely busy guy. We could have you on for another couple of hours and keep pegging away. You are more than welcome to stay because we'd love for you to listen to Christine's book deep dive and get your feedback if you've got any time. But we understand if you've got to go away.
I'll listen to Christine. I understand she's reading one of my favorite stories.
Excellent.
Ah, cool. Well, here we go.
The night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that Saint Nick would soon be there. This popular poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," or sometimes referred as The Visit or The Visit of Saint Nick, was published anonymously in 1823. Some 13 years later, Clement Clarke Moore took credit for the poem. Reportedly, he wanted to keep his authorship a secret because he was a professor and did not consider the work to be scholarly enough. But his delayed claim led to some attributing his work to
Henry Livingston Jr.
All of this reminds me of today's modern words like patent, trademark, and copyright. What are trademarks, patents, copyright? What does it really mean? And when do we need to get them? And is it worth the work that it takes to get them? The United States Patent Trademark Office offers a few 8 to 15-minute videos on this subject. The videos are the entertainment value of a government office, but played at 2 times the speed, they are definitely worth watching to gain some knowledge in this space. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.
Yay!
Awesome. We always learn something
Some
from
of us
Christine.
don't need trademarks.
Yeah, it's too bad Christine couldn't be here, but I'm so glad she's following her heart and helping so many people, especially
Yes.
this time of year. I think for me, one of the things that makes this my favorite time of year is the fact that a lot of people become more generous this time of year than other times. Now, of course, there's probably some people that become greedy this time of year too,
Sure.
but I happen to notice the generous ones.
Perfect. That's the way to do it. Hey, so Santa, as we're wrapping up, as we're coming close to the end of the show, do you have any last-minute stories? Maybe some funny stories that happened at the North Pole during the manufacturing, something that went on with the elves, maybe a delivery snafu, anything that you'd love to share with us or that you can share with us to entertain the folks?
You know, I really don't like to talk about what goes wrong because, quite frankly, we do our best to make sure that nothing goes wrong in what we're doing. But something that CJ just said, I think, is really important. You know, many people have been hit very hard by loss of jobs and COVID and that kind of thing. And this is one time of year where generosity is really important. We've got immigrants coming from all over the world. We have people who are homeless. We have people who, this is not a very happy time of the year because they see everybody else who's getting presents and having lots of joy in their life. So anything you can do to volunteer, to help people, to make donations, to help people at this time of the year, especially the children, is critically important. So rather than talk about things that go wrong, let's focus on things that are right. And things that are right are people being very generous at this time of year.
Yeah,
Well
bravo,
said.
bravo. We like that, that's for sure.
There you go.
So,
So, CJ, do you have any closing remarks?
Well, I was actually going to ask you,
Oh,
can you tell us briefly part of your celebration festivities as far as what you do?
yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. See, I grew up in a family, I was one of 7 children, And I loved the idea that we all got together, all of the family. And as my siblings were getting older and they were having children of their own, we were all getting together. And sometimes at my mom's house, we would have up to 30 people all gathered for Christmas Eve. All the kids were sent to take a little nap. And then we were woken up just as Santa got there. And for some reason, we always missed you, Santa. You flew away, you dropped off the gifts, and we never were able to catch you. But I grew up with that wonderful thing and those wonderful memories and the spirit that we were instilled with from my mom and my dad was generosity. As young as we possibly could, it was all about what could we give to the other people in our family just to bring those smiles to their faces. And now as an adult, I'm with you, Santa. I try to volunteer as much as I can. I try to, I just got finished donating blood. I love working with people just to bring that smile to their face. CJ, Thanksgiving, that time, November, is all about being grateful. And you're absolutely right. December is all about generosity.
Yeah. I think for me, I think back to some of the little things that mean so much. For instance, the Rockefeller Christmas tree has been around for a long time, since 1933. And it's always a big tree with lots of lights. I think they had 25,000 lights on it last year. So we're talking about a big tree. But what people don't always know is the story behind why that got started. And 2 years earlier, in 1931, when they were building the building itself, the construction crew guys wanted to feel a little bit more like Christmas and feel good and positive because they were working straight through the holidays. I mean, they were trying to get the building done and so on. And this guy found this small little, I'll call it a Charlie Brown type Christmas tree. And he actually stuck it in front of the building, just stuck it in the snow. And everyone looked at it and just kind of thought about Christmas every time they walked past to go do their duties. And that kind of was the thing that started it. The next year, it took more than 1 year to build the building. And another construction worker found a tree and stuck it in the same place the following year. So it's not really a surprise to know that the next year when the building opened, a real Christmas tree was put in that same very spot.
That's very cool. Very cool story.
Yeah.
CJ, that's something like, I call that a random act of kindness.
There
In
you
this
go.
case, it was an act of celebration. A few years ago, it was very popular to use the term a random act of kindness. And I think it's important for us to remember that's the kind of thing we should have all year round, not just during the Christmas season. Be kind to the people around you and look for places and times when you can do something to bring joy to someone else, even perfect strangers, because everybody needs a little bit of joy all the time in their life.
That's great. Well, I think we should probably wrap up at this point. And
Yes.
since that was such a good comment, that's a great place to stop. But folks, let me also say that this is the end of season 2. We don't know yet about season 3 or not, but thank you for participating with us through season 1 and season 2. And we hope to see you next year. Have a great
And
one.
Santa, thank you so much for joining us. This has been an incredible gift to all of us. Thank you so much.
And for those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. And for those who don't celebrate Christmas, enjoy the fact that you have the time off on that one day a year to enjoy celebrating however you celebrate. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. Ho, ho,